Hey guys, and welcome to day 7 of the July Scrapathon. If you haven't figured out what that is yet, make sure to check out the Facebook group and my introductory video. There's links in the description below. So for a chance to enter into the grand prize of this event. So today's challenge is really exciting. This is an exciting one. I am so excited, obviously. So it is to make another person, for example, your brother, sister, husband, wife, mom, dad, etc., or a friend, choose 5 scrappy items from your stash, and then you have to use them on a page, no matter how mismatched they are. So I personally made my sister choose some items, and I haven't seen them yet. She has hidden them. I will be making the layout right after I finish talking to you guys. So I hope she didn't go too nuts and she was really discombobulated things. So I think this will be fun though. So I hope you enjoy making this challenge. Don't forget to join the Facebook group if you're not already there, so you can see what everybody else is making. And don't forget to check out Natalie's video. I can't wait to see what she came up with. There will be a link in the description below. And also don't forget to check the April Lilli store because she is our sponsor this month, and she has a great store with great design team members and an awesome blog. So go check her out. And I've been rambling again, so I'm gonna start creating and see what I come up with. Okay, so here is what my sister chose for me, and she is 13. So she chose the Amy Tangerine stitched 6x6 paper pad. And there's not a ton left in here. I only have some black and whites and some greens. Then she chose the Dear Lizzie Serendipity die cut pack and my flare stash, which as you can see I only have 6 flares. So they're in this little dish. Then she chose this gorgeous chevron washi tape that I haven't used in quite a while, so I'm happy about that. And then, of course, she had to go and choose this set of stickers that has dinosaurs on it. And I don't know how in the world I'm gonna use dinosaurs on a page. I don't have any national history museums, or not national. Is it national? Natural history museum pictures and stuff like that. And I have a bunch of summer themed stuff, and then I have these dinosaurs. And there's eggs on here that I could use for Easter, but yeah. So what I did is I pulled out these 2 photos. I'm not sure if I'm going to scrap both of them or just one, of my sister at the beach. I just love these photos because then I could use some of these summer elements and some flare badges, and then the black and whites go with everything, so that's fine. And then I thought maybe I could use these little pine trees from the dinosaur set, because here there's a beach called Finigudes, which that is Greek, which that's a Greek word, which is not pine trees. What are these called? There are kind of these sort of trees, but even though this was in a completely different city, it could be relatable. So I think that's my only option here, but there's these tiny little things, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm gonna start making. I'll put you on fast forward and hopefully I'll come up with something good. Okay, so I'm starting off by cutting down A3 size of paper to about a 12 by 12, and then I'm trying to figure out how I want to place my photos and what the design's going to be. So I just at the moment place them next to each other, and I'm playing around with a bunch of different papers from paper pad, and then I decide I'm just going to do some mixed media and go from there. So I'm gessoing my page, and I'm using the palette knife, and then I'm using my finger, and I'm using a white gesso. And now I'm coming back to my photos, which I thought I would have next to each other like so. And then as I placed them next to each other, I was noticing that if you put them together, the water and the waves kind of lined up. And I thought that was cool, so I'm going to trim them down just so I could stick them next to each other. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen now. So I'm going to do some mixed media, and I'm going to use a bright pink, and we're just going to do the packaging technique with some watercolors. And I'm just going to kind of make some, just a big mess in the center of the layout. And I love how this background turned out. I'm also going to add a bit of yellow, just because the pink was too pink, and I need another color. And then I decide that it's too bright, so I am going to add some white splotches by mixing gesso with water and making a nice thick white paint. And then when I place the photos on top of there, yeah, so I'm gonna add some foam first. So this is just some foam that I've discovered I had. I don't really know where it came from. It's just that we had a lot of this foam from when I was little, and we used to make these puppets out of this foam. So now I've got all of this foam left that I have decided to use on layouts instead of gluing 20 billion different pop dots. So I'm just piecing together some foam, because some of these pieces are already cut into from when I was making the puppets. Okay, so now I'm going to place them onto that pink background, and I love how that looks. Looking at it now, I am in love with how that looks. I just love it. But you'll see what happens in a bit. So I just playing around with some papers. I took out that black camera paper. Now I'm going through paper pad, and I don't find anything else really, so I kind of thought I could make these into sort of like their own little, like they're pinned onto the page, sort of like a build, like a, what is it called, like a board. The name is escaping me. So I decided I'm going to separate them, one at the top and one at the bottom, and then I thought I could, but the mixed media wasn't working for me, so I decided I'm going to use that page on another layout and make another mixed media process here. But looking at that now, I think it would have been better if I left them next to each other. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. I still love the layout, but anyway, you'll see. Okay, so then I thought I needed something to go behind these photos, so I pulled out this blue tissue paper and I crinkled it up, and I'm folding it multiple times. Well, I didn't fold it actually. So I'm ripping it, I'm crinkling it just to get it to have a nice texture and sort of replicate the wave effect. And then of course it needs some mixed media, so I decided I'm going to add some pink and just around each photo. And I don't want to go too overboard, because at the time I had thought that it was too bright, but I don't. Looking at it now, I'm kind of regretting that I changed it. So anyway, I'll stop telling you about how much I regret things and just tell you what I'm doing and my thought process at that time. So then I'm adding some white to tone down, I even toned that down. I don't know why I did that. I think it might have looked better. Anyway, what's done is done, and I still like how it looked. So now I'm going to do the same thing at the top, and that one's going to be a bit more of a success. It's going to be more contained and just more in what I wanted to have, because I wanted the mixed media to peek through, and I sort of went overboard at the bottom, so I did a bit less at the top. So I'm adding some white paint over that as well, and then I'm coming back in with my photos, adding more white paint. So now here the mixed media was going way too high, so I would try something. I just added water onto the watercolor so it would react, since it is on gesso, and then I dabbed it up. So after a long process, I managed to dab some of that watercolor off and get it a bit more contained at the bottom cluster there. And I'm sorry, half of this page is out of frame. I don't know why I didn't fix that, but it's not too bad. So those that little camera piece, I'm kind of using it as the sort of like the pin or the piece of tape that holds things on no, it's not a pegboard, one of those like cork boards, so maybe they're called, I don't know. So then I had some of that extra paint and I didn't want to waste it, so I just pulled out this sort of journal thingy that I just put extra paint in there, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But yeah, so then flare was one of the grab 5 items, so I'm going through that and figuring out what I want to add, and I decided I'm going to add that cute little anchor flare up at the top. I love how that looks. And now I'm going through the Serendipity collection and trying to pick out pieces that I think might work. So I'm playing with those ice creams, and I love the ice creams, but I couldn't make them work onto this page. And then I flipped the black piece to the side because I thought it would look better, but then I decided I liked it more at the top. And then I pulled that yellow sun from the Serendipity die cuts to add behind that flare there and sort of give it a little home. And also it brings out more yellow. It's the only other yellow on this page was in the mixed media, so I needed to bring out some more yellow elements, so that is why that goes there, and why that merci tag at the bottom goes there, because there's some yellow on it. And I just like the shape of it in that cluster, even though thank you has no, merci means thank you in French, doesn't really have any meaning to the layout. And now I'm going through my basket of embellishments, and I find this awesome beach ball, so I stick it there. And this is from the Simple Stories Snap Insta Square Pieces, and this is the summer version, and it had some very nice yellows that matched that sun that I put there from the Dear Lizzie collection. So I went through and pulled out some more elements, even though that beach ball is the only one I'm going to end up using. And then I pulled out this sticker book because I knew there was some seashells and some ice creams in that pink color, but I don't know, it just wasn't working. And then I pulled out the Atwell collection puffy stickers because I want to get those used up, but I just can't seem to. So I didn't end up using any of those either. And now I decide I'm going to glue what I know down, so that is the photo and the strip of paper, so they don't move around all the time and I can kind of play with my embellishments easier. So I now have circular elements in both clusters, and that is what I was looking for. Not only that beach ball brings a bit more of that yellow, it's also another circular element, and it kind of makes the clusters go together because the top one has 2 circular elements and then the bottom one didn't have any at all. So now I'm trying to figure out where I want to do my title and with what letters. So I am going through my letters, and I'm trying to and I wasn't getting anywhere, so I moved on to another aspect, and I'm trying to see how I'm going to use that washi tape on this page, but I couldn't get that used up either, so I'm just kind of fidgeting and staring at the page and playing with my fingers. And then I thought I'm gonna try these Dear Lizzie treasure thickers in the spearmint color, and I love these thickers. These are my all-time favorite thickers. I mean, they're gorgeous, but I never seem to be able to use it. So I wasn't sure what my title was gonna be, so I knew there was gonna be the word summer in it, so I just spelled out that word. And then I thought I could bring in the mint into some other places on the page, so I pull out those, I don't know what, brackets, and put one in both clusters, and those are going to stay there even though I don't end up using this title. And now the big problem with the title was where in the world would I put it, because at this moment the 2 clusters do have the same elements, but there's nothing really connecting them. It's just like I feel like they're just being thrown on a page. So I need something in between them there to sort of continue the diagonal line and keep them in a I can't think today. I cannot think of any words. So anyway, I had to fill in that gap between the photos. So I thought maybe I could do Summer Lovin'. I don't know. I think I saw that somewhere and thought of it. So I'm playing around with those thickers, and I'm going back and forth. I even pulled out some tiny thickers earlier, and I thought maybe I could do have one word at the bottom, at the top cluster, and one word at the bottom. And then I put those aside, and I pulled out these the Wonder thickers, and I still hadn't decided what I wanted to do. So I decided I'm just going to glue down the embellishments that I have chosen because I love how they look where they look. So I'm just going to glue them down and stop procrastinating. And then I decided that those mint stickers are not going to work on this layout, so off they go. And now I am going to pull out those dinosaur stickers, and thankfully I just used those palm trees. I didn't have to figure out how in the world I would incorporate a dinosaur sticker on this page, but I never would have thought to use those pine trees. They're not pine trees, they're palm trees. I never thought to pull them out on this layout or any layout particular, because I I don't know, I don't tend to grab those stickers. So I'm glad I got to use a couple on here. So then I pulled out these these are the Rockabye stickers, and I had the impression that I would color them with a yellow chalk pastel to bring in more of that yellow, but I decided to leave them like that. And I just put them on a piece of washi, and I pulled out that blue washi that's from Scotch, and then I also added a little piece of the yellow washi. So I sort of decided at this point that I would have sort of an extension of each cluster. So the one would have the titles and extension, and the other one would have the journaling. And I'm going to do my journaling there, and that I thought was going to complete the layout. But then after I turned the camera off, I was kind of thinking, I was staring at it and I wasn't really pleased. So I decided to cover up that journaling that I did with gesso, and it took me a long time and it did not turn out really, really well, and just move the journaling up in that blank space between the photos. So I did add some enamel dots, and you'll see that in the pictures, but I didn't do it on camera. And I'm also going to do something with paint here. I don't know what. Let's see. Oh, I added some paint in that's a blank spot, and that did give it a bit more of a continuity. I don't know if that's a word, it's continuity word. Anyway, so I added some more mixed media in that spot to kind of make it more cohesive. And now I'm adding some splattering, and I'm still not really happy with how it looks, which is why I came in and switched that journaling. Oh, and I also did a border around, but I'm not sure you can really see the border in the pictures, but you'll see the journaling. Now I'm coming with some yellow splatters. And I do like how the page turned out. It's certainly different for me. So at least, and I do really like how it turned out, but I'm kind of wishing there was something a bit different, or maybe a bit more mixed media. I don't know. So you'll see in the picture right here that I moved the journaling up there, and then there's also a full shot. So I really hope you participate in this challenge. This was a really fun one. So in order to be able to enter, you will have to join the Facebook group. So I hope I see you there, and thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.